Hey crafters, DM Scotty here. I want to talk about cliff faces. I needed a cliff face for my game and I wanted it to be interchangeable, so I made different pieces out of styrofoam. And styrofoam's not a material I usually use, but in this craft I used it. And I wanted to show you guys this because I made some great looking pieces with very minimal mess. That's one problem with the styrofoam crafting. When you carve this stuff out with a knife, you're surrounded by a mess, okay? And it's just, it's a horrible mess. And that's one reason you know, a lot of people hate doing it. But I want to show you this great result I got with very minimal mess. Now, as far as the tools go, I did use a Hotwire Foam Factory hand tool, and it's very minimal price. You know, it's not super expensive. It's a great little tool to have in your toolkit. You know, if you really want to do the styrofoam crafting. But I'll leave that up to you. You could actually carve this out with a knife. But it would be more mess. But the minimal mess is really facilitated by the Hotwire Foam Factory tool. But the way I textured the rocks and got a nice detail on them without like carving into the styrofoam. So I want to show you the technique I used, show you the paint job and the results. And I'm just really happy with them, and I was just super happy that it wasn't, there was just very little mess involved with it, because like I said, styrofoam can be a huge mess to work with. So let's hit the table. I'll show you these really cool cliff face rocks, and we'll get to it. Danny, I really want to thank you for your support and keep crafting. Alright guys, let's delve into our rock face here. I've got a 1/2 inch piece of styrofoam here. This is that stuff that you put on the side of houses. It's insulation styrofoam. It's a pink stuff. You can get this at the hardware store or sometimes at construction sites they'll throw it away or they'll give it to you. So I'm going to peel that plastic off there. But I'm using my hand tool, my Hotwire Foam Factory hand tool, to put some detail on the edge there, just kind of making a regular shape. But here's where the magic comes into play. I am using a piece of a cinder block, right? And I'm smashing it into the side and then on the top. And it's really giving a nice texture because the cinder block is so rough. And it's actually doing micro cracks and different elevations on the rock, which really gives a great effect. You can see some of that texture popping out there just on this piece. And I'll go ahead and do the bottom side too. All right, cool. Now we'll work on a bigger piece. And this is a 2-inch piece of styrofoam. And I'm going to cut it out with my hand tool. And I'm just going for an irregular shape. I don't want to, be a natural looking kind of rock face shape. But the real magic happens with this the cinder block. Now I can smash it onto that while I'm holding it, and then on the top I'm really hitting it. I'm really hitting it hard with the cinder block, smashing into the top of the styrofoam. It's giving micro cracks. It's giving different elevations because it's pushing the styrofoam in. Just fantastic. Just some really nice detail that would just be really hard to carve by hand. So I'm just going to smash the edges there with a smaller piece. And I'm hitting it really pretty hard. So don't be afraid to let loose with the anger. And hit it good. There I'm doing some striations in the rock with my Foam Factory tool there. You can pound in some more texture there. And when you remove some of the foam so it's not devoid of texture. And there we go, nice. Looking so good. Looking great. I'm just really liking that texture. Just so easy. Okay, here's my piece. I'm going to use a flat black spray paint. And this will melt the foam a little bit, but this is going to be to our advantage because it's going to actually give some more detail to this. So I'll just kind of hit it all over with the black. And in some spaces I'm going to hit it more so it'll actually eat into the foam more. And I'm really getting some nice texture on that from that eating. So there's all I made. It took me a couple hours to make this many, so not bad. That's basically a whole set I can use. And this here is all I had left from my carving. Now, I think this is amazing. If you would have carved this with knives and tried to do this detail with knives, you would have had a ton more mess. So I'm just really happy with it. Now here's the pieces I'm painting them. I'm using a coffee on it and a burnt umber and our burnt sienna, I'm sorry. And I'm putting that on first. And then I'm going to use my sponge and sponge over it with the gray. So it's kind of cool. It gives a nice effect because, you know, with rock, it's not all just one color. It's not all just gray. There's different colors to the rock, and I like that you can add those by doing this technique. So just go around and fill it in. And now with the styrofoam, you can't spray paint it flat black, so I had to hand paint it with the acrylic black. So it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth the effort. So it doesn't melt it, of course. So now I'm using the lighter gray to bring out these details that I've got. And wow, look at those different levels popping out. And that's all just from wailing on the styrofoam by hand. So here's some chunks I've got. I want to show you how a nice setup here. You can just kind of layer them on each other like this and get a really nice cliff face there. I got Roderick here. He's going to scale it. And look at the detail on that. I think that really looks great. It really looks like rock. Just for a great detail for little work. There's micro cracks in this from the, wailing onto the styrofoam. There's different levels because it pushes in the styrofoam. There's nice indents and that kind of thing, as well as the spray paint that actually ate into it, gave it a really nice rock texture. So the combination of these two just really a really nice and easy rock texture, like I say, without having to carve every single little divot into the styrofoam, with a knife and just making a huge mess. You just take that cinder block and go to town on it. The cinder block's it's really rough on the edge, so it really also gives some other nice texture on there. And look at that, man! I'm just telling you, I'm just so happy with these rocks and these cliff faces, and it really wasn't that much work to do these. So there you go. There's a great, easy way to do really nice cliff faces. Hey fellow gamers, I thought I'd show you my rock faces in action. Here's at my game table here, and my players have just discovered kind of a secret entrance was behind this vegetation in front of it, and they discovered it was kind of overgrown, and they discovered it. They found a hidden cave, and as they delved into the cave, I actually used the rocks as the walls of the cavern. When they got further in, I actually used tiles and that kind of thing. But at this point, they came in. There's an old a mine car on the side there, and they find some corpses and webbing, which is actually just cheesecloth. I used some cheesecloth for webbing. So they came into this nasty spider cave, spider-infested cave. So there we go, some great ways to use your new rock faces. Rock on, dudes and dudettes. Ow. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give your DM Scotty a like. There I go, talking about myself in third person again. Also, join my Facebook community, a bunch of great people, wonderful ideas on there. And if you did enjoy the vid, why not drop a little change in the tip jar? Scotty can get a coffee and energize himself for his next video. Also, if you would like to support the DM's Craft longer term, you can join Patreon. And I produce a video magazine every month for my Patreon supporters called The Crafter's Lair, chock full of information, crafts, and other tips from DM Scotty. And I'll see you next time. Hey friends and crafters, this is my little crafted niece Gracie, and what do we say here at The Craft? Go
forth
and craft! All right, perfect, good.
You'll have to get some parts out.